Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's good? Hope everybody's doing well wherever you are in the world. Is it round? Is it flat? Nobody seems to know. Well, nobody seems to want to agree to one consensus. But let's not have that conversation here. This is PDK. Yeah, I thought we were due for a proper update. I've been keeping my community page updated every Sunday, but sometimes that's just not enough. And with so much going on these days, I feel like I wanted to give you a little bit more. Also, apologize once again for the fluctuations and changes. You know, it's really unfortunate. I think I have the worst timing in the world when it comes to some things, you know. After so many years, after so many setbacks and holdups, I was finally able to roll out my channel full force the way that I wanted to. And when you know, I came out full blast same time as something else that hit the world. You know what I'm talking about, you know, that old COVID thing. So that kind of disrupted a lot of plans because a lot of my personal life was affected, just like most people's. Family, work, etc., etc. So I've had to make some adjustments, both small and major. And it's no way that it's not going to impact the channel, and it has. So again, as with everybody else, I'm just trying to stay mentally sound and physically fit to the best of my ability. Sometimes it's easier than others. You have your good days, you have your off days. That's how it is with any of us. So I'm going to give you the really short version of my personal story because I feel like for those of you who are actually interested in the content or into the channel, especially those who've been here for the long haul, those tried and few, you know, those veterans, I feel like I owe you a little bit more. Because really, you don't have to be here. You don't have to watch these videos. You don't have to support me, but a lot of you do, and I really appreciate that. I feel like I get a pretty good response considering I'm a modest-sized channel, you know? So I really appreciate it. And I don't necessarily want this channel to go away. I know, based on things that I've said recently, some of you might get the impression that I just really am ready to be done with it and wash my hands of it completely. And I apologize if I gave off that impression. It's a lot going on, and it's just not as important as some other things. But, you know, all things being equal, in another world, in another time and space, I would be more than happy to keep this thing going. Again, there's just other things that are more demanding of my attention, things that are more timely, more pressing, and I have a personal responsibility, you know, that's all that is. But we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to write it off entirely. A friend of mine said recently, just if you need to take a break or ease up on it, but, you know, it doesn't have to necessarily go anywhere. And if things go a certain way down the road, maybe a year plus from now, if I'm able to have more time in the day and I'm not so committed to other demands, you know, if I have more free time, you know, I don't have a problem with expanding the channel once again and returning to some topics and ideas that I had that I've unfortunately had to put on the back burner indefinitely as of right now. So, you know, it's all up in the air, just like the world. It's all up in the air right now. So I'm not going to speak on absolutes and guarantees right now. We're going to have to keep it day by day, up to the minute. So thanks for being a part of the ride with me, because it is a ride, it's a trip, it's a journey. Yes, so real quick, I've always been a very private person. I don't really go into my personal life too much on this channel, and that's just how I am in life in general. I'm a very private person. You know, I have a very small but close stable of friends, and even amongst them, there's certain things that maybe this friend doesn't know or that friend doesn't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm a very private person by nature. Not, you know, I'm not plotting anything. I'm not scheming, nothing underhanded. I just, you know, just kind of keep to myself. You know, I'm very, very internal person. I'm what I consider an introverted extrovert. I'm very friendly, I'm very communicative, I'm very talkative, which again, I have a YouTube, but in general, I'm silent. I definitely have my motor mouth phases where I can't shut up, but generally speaking, yeah, I don't talk about me too much. But just so you guys have a better backdrop as to what's going on in my sector, this is the really short version, okay? You have to bear with me. So my mother lives in the Chicago area, which is where I grew up. I grew up in Chicago, like in the actual city, which is, yeah, they're catching all kinds of heat right now. But she thankfully doesn't live in the heart of the city anymore. She moved out some time ago and is in one of the outlying suburbs. And she was living with my brother and his family for quite some time. He moved her in with him after he had children. She basically was a live-in nanny, I guess you could say. So, but long story short, and I apologize, you know, you're not used to me getting too personal, but she was staying with him for probably well over 15 or 16 years. But there were some complications with the marriage, as often happens nowadays. Folks disagree, don't want to work it out, and they split up. And a lot of bad things happened after that. Things just kind of really spiraled out of control. Fast forward to present day, he passed away earlier this year, literally like probably a month before COVID really blew up in the United States. And which I guess, if he had to go, I'm glad he went before all this nonsense started to go down. But because of that, that put her in a very precarious position, because that was his house. He was the one paying for everything. And yeah, she's retired. She didn't have me old, but she had me fairly later in life than most people do. So she's kind of up there, She didn't have me early on, like a lot of folks do. She was in her 30s when she had me. So, she's officially retired from her job. And yeah, she's on a retired paycheck, fixed income. So she can't keep up with that house. And they've already sent her letters for foreclosure and things. So long story short, I don't want to get too boring. She has to move. She had to move. And I had just recently moved into my new spot, which you all know because I had that very excited update where I was really jazzed about having my space to record and everything. And it's not a huge house, but it's 3 bedrooms and I'm currently living alone. So I definitely have space. So, she's family. And on top of that, she's my mother. So I invited her to come stay with me, seeing how things were going. Plus, with everything that goes on in Chicago these days, I didn't really feel comfortable her being out there living by herself. And there's not too many people out there that I really trust to, really look after her properly. She goes to church and she has a good church family, but I don't know any of them personally. Plus, she's my family, so I feel responsible for that. So I invited her to come out and live with me, and it's been very demanding on both our ends as far as coordinating the movers and getting everything taken care of. I've never moved across states before, but well, I guess that's not true because I moved here from Chicago, didn't I? But I'm a minimalist. I pack light. I don't keep a lot of things. So it wasn't a big move for me. Her, on the other hand, like a lot of, mothers or, elder people, she's accumulated a lot of things over the years, so she's got a lot more to bring than I did, so plus I don't think she's ever lived outside of Illinois. So this is a bigger deal for her. I've traveled a bit and I try to travel when I can, but her, she hasn't really moved around too much. So this will be a really huge change for her. So just helping her get acclimated and devoting a little bit of time to her when she gets here is going to be a priority. Plus, I recently quit the job that I had been working because they were starting to cut my hours severely. There was no more overtime, which was hurting me. And also there were just other issues with the job where I knew I didn't want to continue to be there. So thankfully I was able to find something else very soon that I just started this week. And it should give me more flexible hours, which is a plus, but that doesn't necessarily mean more free time for the channel because I'm really working on some home-based businesses because, there's a big online market right now. There always has been, but even more so now because more people are being forced more or less to buy online. So I'm trying to maneuver into a situation where I can make money from home. And long-term goal, not to divulge too much because I don't like to talk about plans prematurely. I feel like that's inviting obstacles to come your way. But my goal is to be working from home sufficiently and efficiently to the point where I don't need to even work a day job, so to speak, in the near future. Like say a year from now. Like it's going to be a process. It's a lot I need to learn and a lot I need to put into place, but that is the long-term goal. Because if I can manage to do that and I don't have to go out and do the corporate thing, that allows me more flexibility in my day, more freedom, and that'll allow me to do more things that I've been wanting to do, but I just haven't had the free time to devote to it, such as studying and reading. Oh, I miss reading. Yeah, I'm a reader. I get it from my mother. She always read to me when I was younger and it just stuck. I love to read. The internet has a lot of things. It doesn't have everything. Don't believe the hype. Some information, even in present day, you're only going to get in books. So for you history buffs especially, take note of that. So anyway, more time for reading, studying, drawing. Some of you might know from back when I had my Patreon page that I took down because I just knew I wasn't going to be able to, keep it up the way that it deserved to be. But I used to draw and illustrate a lot back in the day and I want to get back. And I know you only have to take my word for it because I haven't uploaded anything. I don't really have the tools or software right now to really make use of that outside of just basic paint and GIMP, which I am getting better at every day. But yeah, as a traditional artist, I think I'm pretty decent. I'm not gonna, not gonna hype myself up, but I feel pretty confident in my abilities. And I don't think I'm too rusty, even though I haven't been keeping that up with it in recent years. But that's another thing I'd like to have time for. I'd like to research into some digital brushes and pens, do some art online and share that. There's a lot of things that I'm interested in, a lot of things that I'd like to get into. And of course, more free time for YouTube, because again, I don't want to necessarily give it up, but I just can't go at it as hard as I was planning to earlier this year, like with the live stream and everything. Yeah, that's another thing. Unfortunately, I know I keep pushing it back, but I don't even know if I'll be able to live stream in September. So right now, that is also on indefinite hold as far as gaming goes. I haven't written it off completely, and I do apologize for the folks I was telling, yeah, you can look forward to me playing this and playing that. I apologize. I even got some games specifically for the purposes of streaming down the road, like Streets of Rage 4. I was going to stream that, some other games, but I just can't afford to right now. I really can't, you know. Got some other obligations right now, and I think you kind of understand what those are after what I just told you. So, yeah. So we'll see. You know, now is not a time to force things, not a time to pressure. It's also not a time to procrastinate, which is why prioritizing things is key. I'll get to it later if I can, but right now I just can't be worried about it. Oh, and one quick side note as it pertains to my online entrepreneurial endeavors, there is one thing that I have in the works that will tie into the channel once I've got it up and going. Actually, a couple things maybe, and some of you may be interested in it. I'm really excited about it actually, but it's still in the planning stages right now. I'm getting some things together, but provided I don't have too many delays or setbacks, expect to be getting a video talking about that in the near future. I'd say within a month's time, hopefully sooner than a month, but we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you posted as always, but that'll actually get its own separate update video when that happens, because it's a pretty significant thing and I want to make sure you guys are fully aware of it. So be excited for that. It's tied to the channel, but it's not having to do with any videos per se or any series, but yeah, keep an eye out. I'll let you know. So as far as videos, those of you who've been following the Sunday posts already know, unfortunately, the LPs, the Let's Plays, those take a lot more effort, not just to record them, but also to edit them, clean up the audio when that needs to be done, and then process them, which can take a while, and then of course uploading them. Some take longer than others, you know, because sometimes I need to do retakes, or with a game like Langrisser, sometimes things go awry in the battle and I have to do over because I want to give you guys the best content that I can. So then I've wasted time, 20, 30 plus minutes recording a video that I'm just going to junk anyway and have to start from scratch. So it can be a process, it can be a trial. So those are kind of on hold right now. I want to get back to those as soon as possible, but it's going to be at least 2 weeks, maybe longer. I'll keep you posted as always every Sunday on the current state. The no commentary, I will continue to upload on a regular rate just because I don't want this channel to dry up completely, you know, and also those take less effort because even though they're still time consuming, all I have to do is record, and then it's just a simple matter of processing the video and then uploading it. And I can do all that in the background while I'm working on other things. Whereas with the LPs, I have to take a more active role in editing it and checking to make sure everything came out good. There were no background noises that need to be filtered out, etc., etc. So yeah. So that's where I'm at, guys. And unfortunately, for better or for worse, I have officially become a Langrisser channel at this point, it feels like. That was not my intention. Again, I entered this under the guise of Sega, Classic, Retro, and Indie. That's what I was all about. Classic, Sega, Retro, Indie games. And it is slowly but steadily and almost absolutely evolved into just strictly Langrisser. So that wasn't my goal, that wasn't my intention, but that's what happened. So I do have some other big projects that I still have on the back burner, but like I said, I'm not going to be able to get to those anytime in the near future because for some of them, they require extensive research that I haven't completed, and I don't even have time to do that right now. Like I have a stack of books that I'm backlogged on, for example, that I don't even know when I'll get to them. So I think I checked out over 10 books from the library and I haven't gotten to near one of them. You know, how I returned them before I've even gotten to open 3 pages. So yeah, it's just a lot going on these days. So for those of you who are really invested in this channel and would like to see it continue, whether just for the sake of me completing the main Langrisser series or also to see what I had in store beyond Langrisser, because I did have other things in mind, you know, there's ways for you to send me support without necessarily dropping any monetary support, though that's always appreciated and some have done it in the past, and for those who have, I'm eternally grateful. And I mean that because I know what it is to donate, because I've been on the other end of it and I know it's a lot. And it's never expected, it's never demanded, but it is always appreciated. But you don't have to do that. Just by watching the videos for more than a minute, you know, just actually watching the videos, for leaving a like, for leaving comments, especially feedback, whether it's positive or negative, just any kind of honest, constructive communication, I appreciate and welcome. All these things, sharing the videos, mentioning the videos, anything that you do is helpful and validates this channel's presence in my being here. Believe me, trust and believe. So what else is there to say on this very long update? Yeah, I'm not gonna hold back at this point because there may not be too many of these for a while, so I'm gonna make this one count. So that's the situation with Langrisser. Thanks again for voting recently. Langrisser 2, I'm just gonna do the entire remake as the no commentary. As far as Let's Plays, once I can get back to that, I'm going to continue the Der Langrisser, Heroes Only of course, but in addition to that, we're going to just jump straight into Langrisser 3, a game that I'm very excited to present. It's a very good game in my opinion, but I'll let you form your own opinions. It can be a very divisive game, and you'll see why soon enough if you watch. And from there, we're going to move into Langrisser 4 and eventually 5, and I'm as excited to cover 5 as I am 3, but unfortunately, for the sake of the story and chronology, it wouldn't make sense to skip 4, so we're going to go through 4 as well as 5. And as much as I'd like to just say, hey, check out Breto's Langrisser 4 playthrough, which there's a link down below in the video description, I know that there are differences between the Saturn and PlayStation version, and also I don't think he ever showed off Route B, so for that alone it'll be justified for me to cover the Saturn version, which is what I plan to do. And again, I'll provide subtitles because I don't expect the English translation for that version anytime soon. But coming up with subs shouldn't be too difficult because worst case scenario, I can just compare a gameplay video of Langrisser 4 on PlayStation and just plunk it in manually. Time consuming, but doable. You guys are worth it, and the series is worth it. There's a reason why I started covering Langrisser so heavily. I really feel that it's a very overlooked series, and it stacks up with all the series that people know full well. And I'm just trying to do my part to spot a little sunlight. Oh, yeah. Langrisser Mobile did help with that to an extent. In fact, there are people that I've met and talked to about Langrisser that were introduced to the series through the mobile game. So however you feel about Gacha, I'm not, the biggest fan of it, but in the end, I'm personally glad it exists because it did draw some more people into the series, which is the whole point of what I'm doing here, just exposing the things that tend to get unknown, unseen, and overlooked. So yeah, originally I was planning on exploring the Langrisser series, which is by the original creators of the Langrisser series, or the creators of the series post Der Langrisser for sure, because I think there were some changes in the team between Langrisser 2 and Der Langrisser, which definitely would make some sense as far as mild story and gameplay changes. But still, the core team, they moved on to Langrisser, which is the series. That series ran as long, if not longer, than the original Langrisser series, oddly enough. But a lot of them didn't originally come to America, or maybe they did eventually. I know Working Designs released some of them. I'm not really well versed in it. I know very little about the games other than they were made by Team Langrisser, so that alone had me interested and intrigued. The little bit of gameplay video I watched of them led me to think that they're actually a very different beast altogether, despite being from the same team. So I was kind of curious what they were about. I was going to kind of try one of them out, and depending on how things went, I would probably do the same thing and just cover a good chunk of the series. Not the whole series, but at least a couple of games in it. But I'm just throwing it out there. That's what was in my head. I'm not going to commit to that. I'm just letting you guys know that's what I was thinking about. It's a lot less intimidating than Fire Emblem, a series I thought to cover at one point, but there's way too many games in the series at this point, and I'm not interested. I might cover the GBA ones at some point, but that, again, is if this channel lasts beyond 2021, which at this point, I don't know. If we can just get through 2020, that's already great. I'm not going to ask for too much more than that, one day at a time. Don't want to overextend, but we'll see what we can do. As far as Langrisser 3, I still have to contact CyberWarriorX, who is currently working on the English translation of the game. Unfortunately, it's a little bit harder to get a hold of him than I once thought. So if anybody listening to this video is able to contact him, or if by some random fortuitous chance he is actually watching this, please get in contact with me. My email is accessible through my channel page under the About. There's a section where you can click and see that. So please, CyberWarrior, or anybody who is an acquaintance with him, if you can let me know how to contact him, or send him a line, or just reach out to me directly. I am interested in talking to you about possibly getting a translation patch ready to go for when I cover the game. Even if the translation is not 100% complete, I'm perfectly fine showing an incomplete version just to let people know that it is a work in progress, whatever your current status is. But you have to let me know if that's something that's doable. Now, if that's not doable, and I'm fully prepared for this and more than ready to upload subtitles for every video so that you'll understand the story as we go, because it's a very robust story and it's a very good one in my opinion. So I want you to be able to follow along and know what's going on. And there's a lot of voice acting in the game, so I'm not going to be reading the dialogue too much. I'm going to just let the game tell its own tale. So yeah, that's going on too. In fact, today is probably my best day for a while to actually devote time to that. So I'm going to go to my few online links that I have to try to contact him, forums and whatnot. And hopefully I can hear back from him fairly soon, within the week, I would hope. But you know, who knows how busy he is, just like the rest of us. There's a lot going on right now, so no promises, no guarantees, but that is my intentions. All I can tell you guys are the facts and my intentions. That's all I can give you. So I'm sure most of you understand. Thanks again for being a part of the haul. It's a long one. Yeah, perseverance, determination. We're not giving up. I'm not, I'm not throwing in the towel. That's not in my character. It's not in my blood. Gotta keep going. Gotta keep moving. Anyway, I'm not gonna start singing to you guys. Oh, especially not with my dehydrated voice. Oh. So I'm not trying to drag this out, honestly, but I'm just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting any minor points, because I'm really trying to make this one count. This will probably be my last vocal update for quite some time. Yeah, so anybody has any questions, concerns, comments, please leave them down below. Let me know where you guys stand, how you feel about things. And again, I just don't want to hear about sunshine and rainbows. If you're not happy with the way things are going on my end or anything with the channel, please let me know. As long as it's honest and you're not trolling, like you're being sincere, I welcome it all. I've got tough skin. I've said it before. I just want the truth. I want the honesty. I'm looking at everything going on in the world right now, and to me, the world is calling out for truth. We've been lied to for so long, and I think a lot of the things that are happening in the world right now, for better or for worse, I don't approve of a lot of things happening, but I think it's all a direct consequence of all the lies that we've all been fed over recent history, and I think it's all coming to bear fruit. I think we're moving into a world globally, a society that will hopefully, potentially embrace the truth more than the lies. And I would like to see that, because I don't think we can ever truly coexist peacefully or effectively on good terms as a whole. Just speaking broadly as a whole, I don't think that can ever happen if we're not willing to tell some basic, fundamental, foundational truths and facts about ourselves and the world we live in. So, and that's kind of why I made that crack earlier about the state of the planet. Is it round? Is it flat? Not saying which side of the fence I'm on, but I just find it interesting that when that argument comes up, most folks will argue the fact one way or the other without presenting actual evidence or points to back up their standpoint. And I think that's something we need to get past. We need to move beyond emotion-based opinions and fact experience-based opinions. Emotions are important, but I don't think we can afford to keep living lives that are led by them. Strictly, exclusively, primarily, predominantly, if that makes sense. Do you follow me? Am I just, rambling, ranting, or is there any sense to be found in my words right now? I hope so, because that's my intent. Again, I'm here for a better world for all of us. Not for this person or this group or that group, this population, that population. A better group for everybody. I don't want to sound like an idealist. I think of myself as a practical person primarily, but I think it is possible. But I think we just have to make some fundamental changes. And I think we all have to hold ourselves more accountable on a basic level as people. But here's hoping. There's still a chance. There's still hope. Not giving it up. Brighter future. Brighter tomorrow starts today. Next time you see somebody you don't know, maybe smile, just give them that welcome, inviting energy, It doesn't take a lot sometimes. You'd be surprised how much your smile might impact somebody's day for the better. Don't underestimate your own value. Don't sell yourself short. We are far more important, far more valuable, and far more powerful than most of us realize. That goes for every single one of you. So anyway, I'm not trying to turn into a motivational speaker. This is just me coming off top, off the dome, off rip. No cap in my rap. This has been PDK. Everybody continue to stay healthy, stay safe, do what you love what you do as much as you can do, please. It goes a long way. Healthy state of mind, healthy state of being. Till the next video, I'll keep you posted and I will see you soon.